It's fucking Halloween! Woo! Vampires and ghosts and shit. All the things that scare us are really emphasized on Halloween. When you think about it, fear is an interesting emotion in its own. It gets even more interesting when you look at how fear has been utilized by the media to boost sales. Like, it's always confused me that people will pay to experience fear. Because fear is often perceived as like this negative thing. In its natural state, it's meant to help you avoid danger by making you want to get away from what you're scared of. So why are people fucking driven to it? See, there's like two types of fear. Thrill and suspense. Thrill relies a lot more on shocking you, and it's a lot more temporary than suspense. Suspense is all about build-up, and if it's done properly, you begin to feel the danger looming. It's much more long-term because a lot of the actual emotion that's experienced is what your mind is imagining on its own. And then there's horror in video games. You would think that video games would be the main medium of fear. See, with movies and whatnot, the same thing's gonna happen every time, no matter how many times you hit that restart button. But with games, things can go differently because the player is given control, and therefore the danger is directly placed on them.
Now, keeping in mind this level of interactivity, I would say video games are possibly the best way to experience horror. You get enveloped in the world, and as such, control the pace of the situation such a game places you in. The game is ready to be pushed by you, giving your role as a viewer that much more weight. The tense moment of edging closer to some unknown entity is down to your courage, or lack thereof. The suspense of the situation is actually down to the player, and whatever comes from getting to the end of an event actually leaves them with real emotions towards it. Oh my god, please don't kill me. Possible regret for ever stepping close, or true relief that nothing in the slightest happened. This is where the medium and the genre itself truly shine.
But while horror in video games can be powerful, does it ever really reach its full potential? The horror genre's strongest selling factor is just what the title of the genre states. People buy these games because they're supposed to be scary. But to me, that's already belittling to the experience. The primary difference of actual fear and that which is presented in games is the fact that you're subconsciously expected to be scared when you're playing a game. And because of this, horror games lose the element of surprise. I don't mean this kind of surprise. That's cheap and boring and stupid and dumb. No.
I can certainly see where you're getting at, but I guess the crux is, if people feel that emotion of fear, they go away satisfied. As satisfied as you can be with this! It's a controlled environment with horror games, because true fear would, well, truly thrust you in the action. Oh god. And you could get that by just walking down to your local store and eating too much peanut butter and... I don't know, just... With games and movies, people want it at arm's length. The game's job is to envelop them into the situation so they forget what they're playing. And this is where a lot of horror games fall down on. Repetitive situations, no cohesive narrative or drive to complete them. Taking Slender, it fits the bill as, shall we say, the shallow end of horror, which won't leave you with as much piss in your pants as, say, the Fatal Frame series or Silent Hill. The old ones, just so you know. No, not that one. No.
Speaking of games that do horror properly, let's look at Amnesia. Now, plenty of people have sang Amnesia its praises, so I don't really need to fucking elongate, but it's a good fucking game. The second one sucked, but who fucking cares? Amnesia puts you in this immersive environment blindly, and you just had to manage resources and stats while worrying about this spooky guy who's gonna come get you. It was really good. Plenty of people say that because the monster isn't fucking showcased on a billboard, it lets your imagination run wild, and that ultimately leads up to a good horror game. While others say that the fact that you have to manage materials and shit all while having this paranoia looming over your shoulder makes it even stronger. But here's something I haven't heard anybody talk about. The mystery of it all. When I got Amnesia, I played through the first few levels, or 7, and then my buddy got it too, so I started over so we can kind of play it at the same time. We're really good buddies. The parts that I had already played obviously lost all their edge, because I knew what was coming for me when and where. And I know this sounds like a really basic concept, because it fucking is. Amnesia didn't prep me up for all that was coming, and there was this huge buildup of tension before you even see the monster. And when the game did break that tension, it didn't overstay its fucking welcome. It went home afterwards. When things happened, it was really light, and it caught me by surprise. It fucking scared the shit out of me.
Surprise really comes down to how the game itself sets its scares up, using suspense and new ideas rather than shock and jumping right off the bat. I certainly think it's very capable of catching us off guard. It's just a lot of games are too knee-deep in relying on tropes. Some successful games realize these tropes like jump scares to put the player in a false sense of security before bringing the stronger, more subtle horror into light. The genre and its goals, in my opinion, are valid, and the execution is difficult, but most certainly doable. Oh god, is it doable?
And ultimately, I'd have to agree. I'll never understand why people are so attracted to fear, but that's just the way it is. Certain things really appeal to people, so obviously products are gonna appeal to those things because, well, fucking sales and money are things that exist. Horror games usually suck. But in the same notion, since the genre is just so filled with
shit,
it really allows the good ones to shine and get the praise they deserve, which is kind of reflective of gaming as a whole. Because it's so easy to make a shitty or just plain bad game, it helps us appreciate and understand why we love the games where you can sense the passion and creativity that the developers put into it, and it's fucking good.